Hi, what's up? How's it going? How are you? I'm Jay. I'm going through a quarter-life crisis, which is why I thought starting a booktube channel was a good idea. There's a fly in my room and I'm choosing to ignore it. Do y'all remember a book called 13 Little Blue Envelopes by Maureen Johnson? Didn't she co-write a book with John Green? I feel like those two are buddies. I remember 13 Little Blue Envelopes quite vividly. This book cover was everywhere when I was about 12 to 15. So this is the part where I pieced together the plot of the book despite not having read it in over 10 years. This is a rare one. I actually remember the plot of this book quite well. So 13 Little Blue Envelopes is the story of our young, introverted protagonist named Ginny. This is kind of a coming of age, gallivanting through Europe and finding yourselves kind of story. Ginny's aunt, who recently passed away, has left her a series of instructions sealed in, you guessed it, 13 Little Blue Envelopes. That was not planned. That was not planned, but that worked out really well, did it not? Was that smooth? I felt like that was quite smooth. I'm doing great. Before she passed, Ginny's aunt left her a series of letters that contain instructions, and those instructions involve having Ginny first fly to London with nothing except what she can carry in her backpack. She meets a handsome boy who I want to say is a redhead. I honestly remember a lot about this book, enough that I feel like I could get a B if you quizzed me on it. I want to manage my expectations because, you know, this book was published in 2005 and I am clearly not in the demographic it's marketed to anymore. Should we read? Let's read. This is not a comfortable position. I hope it looks cute. Page 12, just a casual Trump reference. Nothing politically charged. It's just, well, at the time, Donald Trump was not a political figure. Wow. It's just kind of like certain words really hit differently, and it's really shocking to see them in a casual context. You know, it's like in 2005, like, how could we have known? I'm weirdly getting emotional, and I don't really know why that's happening. I think it's a mix of things. I think that it's a mixture of pleasant nostalgia and also current baggage that's happening in my life. So the book opens, like I said, Ginny is embarking on this solo European trip at the request of her aunt. And basically these letters take Ginny kind of beat by beat through her aunt's own adventures through Europe. And letters talk about her journey kind of like as a struggling artist trying to find herself in Europe and the joys and the struggles she had along the way. My baggage is flaring up because as I mentioned countless times, I am in the midst of a quarter-life crisis. That quarter-life crisis has been kind of spurred into being because I lost my job at the start of the pandemic. I was also an artist. And I'm kind of like in a place where I feel like I am Ginny in the sense that I want to break out of this current life that I'm in, but I'm also her Aunt Peg in the sense that I have experienced parts of the quote struggling artist's life. Yeah, I'm surprisingly emotional about it, and at this point I can't tell if it's because the book is legitimately good or if because my baggage is showing. But like I said, I do think that I'm going to enjoy reading it. No. Okay. So page 53, a memory has been unlocked. Okay, so to recap what has been happening thus far, Ginny has flown to London per her dead aunt's instructions. She is crashing at a friend of her aunt's. His name is, I forgot his name already, Richard, I'm sorry. And Richard doesn't really become relevant until later. Now, at this point in the book, Ginny has just opened the third letter and her instructions are to withdraw $500 from her aunt's British bank account. Ginny must give these $500 to the artist of her choosing. Her aunt is basically asking her, I want you to be a mysterious and generous benefactor. I want you to give some artists a lucky break, so to speak. And I think that's really sweet, and I think that's really quirky. However, the memory that was unlocked tells me that this is not going to be the whimsical moment that the aunt wanted it to be, and I'm a little nervous. I'm a little nervous to read it. I mean, in the end, I'm pretty sure this ends with her having a love interest, but the meet cute is more of a meet cringe. That was good, right? I'm on fire with these one-liners today. Sorry, can I make a guess? Can I make a prediction? I think that her love interest and also the lucky recipient of these $500 is a musician. I'm pretty sure his name is Keith because that's a given. Oh. Shit. I'm sorry, I was wrong. I take it back, I was wrong. The back of the book says that Ginny's love interest is Keith. My instincts told me he was a musician, but the back of the book says he's a playwright. This might be. So Keith's genius play is about a Starbucks employee that falls in love with a customer. There is a song called I Love You, a Latte. I don't know why I found that amusing. Like, I've seen that on cards. So that's not an original joke, but I liked it. You idiot, Ginny. Do y'all want to hear Ginny's genius plan to give $500 to this Keith boy? Her plan was that she was going to purchase $500 worth of tickets to his weird Starbucks play. And the interaction there was also very awkward, so I was right that this was an awkward interaction and it was not gonna go well. I feel like Ginny's plan here was that she wanted to unload this $500 while engaging in the least amount of social interaction possible. And she did that, but does anyone have a backup plan for Ginny? I'm just wondering, like, how would you unload, she says 70 tickets. She needs 70 tickets to get rid of. I guess, like, what would be the tale you would spin in order to get these seats filled for poor Keith? I am just kind of instinctively endeared to Keith. I think he's fun. They're going out for a drink. That's what's happening. That's the update. I'm sorry, I made a face because Keith just like made a comment that said he was getting to pubs when he was 13, and you know, I'm an American. I don't know if that's common among the British youth. Hey Ivy, Ivy's library card, can you please confirm or reject what's happening here? Salamat. Salamat means thank you in Tagalog. I should have mentioned that. Ginny's first drink is a Guinness, and I'm like, girl, I don't think you want to go with a Guinness. Those things are flavorful. Let's go with flavorful. Page 78. Ginny enters the tube and she finds just a whole pineapple just sitting on the platform. This has like very strong How I Met Your Mother energy. I feel like we're not going to get a payoff for the pineapple, but the reference was just so strong that I had to mention it. I mean, we didn't get any payoff for the pineapple story in How I Met Your Mother either. I'm sorry. I wasn't expecting Ginny to, she looked at the pineapple and she said, if the pineapple survives the train coming by, it means he likes me. I wasn't expecting her to pin her romantic future on the fate of the pineapple, so I laughed. So we've been going for about an hour and a half. We're gonna stop here. We are at letter 4. We'll talk tomorrow? Yeah, we'll talk tomorrow. Bye. So Ginny's next stop is that she must go to Scotland to visit a old mentor of her aunt's. So page 113. So the artist mentor is painting kind of a picture of a lion on Ginny's back. The metaphor is a little on the nose, but I don't know, like there's something about the moment that's still like is very nice and heartwarming to me. I think it's sweet. I don't know. I like imagining how this lion looks on her back. The visual I'm imagining just looks really cool, And just like that alone is just like giving me like a pleasant nostalgia. She suggests that Ginny could get it like tattooed for real, and she doesn't in this book, which is really frustrating to me. I wish she fucking did. Okay, page 116, I do want to call something out. I wish that they expanded on this more, but I don't know if they do. Keith says that he doesn't like Aunt Peg, just based on the information that he has. And I think that that critique of Aunt Peg is a really credible one. Peg, like, basically how she ended up in Europe in the first place, how she ended up in London. One day she literally just decided, I need to move to Europe. I want to be an artist and this is what I want. But she really doesn't take her family's feelings into account. And yes, Peg is a grown woman. She didn't have dependents of her own, but still her leaving really left a hole for Ginny because they were quite close. And for the next several years, Ginny didn't really know what happened to her, and none of the people in her family did. And they never saw her again before she died. And I like that Keith brought that up, but I feel like this is the only time it's brought up. I wish that this conversation was pursued further. What? So letter number 6, Ginny's instructions were to go to Rome, and her name's not Peggy, and Aunt Peg said that your assignment is to ask an Italian boy out on a date. Let me tell you, that was a waste of a chapter. Because Ginny asked out a boy, it went fine, and then she was kind of in a situation where like things were getting a little too flirtatious for her liking, and so she left before the situation escalated too far. And it was perfectly fine. It was just a complete waste of time. I really like the letters that have to do with learning something about Aunt Peg. For example, I liked meeting her mentor in Scotland. I want to see more of those. I want to see Ginny meeting and interacting with the people who cared for her aunt and learning more about her. I don't like these silly side adventures that just like don't advance the plot at all. Another thing is that I'm realizing I think that this story could be made more impactful if Ginny was an artist herself in some capacity. She's 17 right now, so like this is the perfect opportunity for this kind of conflict where Ginny has plans to major in something practical in college. However, her true passion is something artistic, and she feels like the only time she was able to express her artistic passions was around Aunt Peg. I think that giving Ginny an artistic drive would help solidify why Aunt Peg was so important to her and why she is going on this journey right now. Like, I like this being about her following Aunt Peg's personal journey and kind of experiencing what it was like for her to live her life as an artist, and perhaps help Ginny decide if that's something she would want to do for herself. I think that would be really cool, and I think it would be even better if Aunt Peg put in artistic challenges like post up on the street and try to sell your art, or ask a fellow artist if you could draw them, or something like that. Like, I wish that the challenges in the letters were either, hey, I want you to meet my close friend, or I want you to put yourself and your art out there in the world. I don't know, that feels like a really good idea. Can someone get in touch with Maureen Johnson? I would reread this book if she wrote that version of it. Like 1000%. Anyway, we're gonna keep going. Aww. Okay, you know what? Honestly, I'm weirdly tearing up. I'm weirdly tearing up by this letter. I just finished reading letter 8. Ginny's next stop is a cafe where Aunt Peg basically lived for free in exchange for offering to completely repaint this cafe owner's entire shop. I'm just picturing like collages of color and chaos, and just an expression of her aunt's love for art, and I'm getting teary-eyed just thinking about it. I don't know what it is. I'm just imagining a lot of color and a lot of expression, and I'm so excited for that chapter to happen. There are parts of this book that get me to tear up just a wee bit, but it happens only when we get to see the artistic sides of Aunt Peg, which I think is her best quality. Like, I feel like if if I was Maureen Johnson's editor, begging her to rewrite this book, like, I imagine that when Ginny gets to the cafe, I imagine the owner leading her to a completely blank wall and saying, like, Peg left this for you. She wanted you to create something on this wall. What? Keith is here! Keith says that, like, there's a coincidence for why he's in Paris. He's like, oh, like, what a coincidence. You're in Paris, I'm in Paris. And I'm like, I don't know, Keith. Like, the answer could just be you wanted to see her. You don't have to spin tails. Okay, so I think we've reached a good stopping point. We are at page 199, and that means we have a little over 100 pages left of the book. I will see you tomorrow. Did I transition into day 3 yet? It's day 3. It's a different day, and we are hopefully going to finish the book today. Peg. Fucking Peg. Okay. You want to know what the letter says? Okay, so these are things I knew. So we found out a lot about Aunt Peg. So letter 12, Aunt Peg has revealed. I feel like I have to backtrack a little bit because I feel like I don't remember if I told you this because I didn't think it was relevant at the time. When Ginny first came to London, do you all remember that she was staying with a man named Richard who was Aunt Peg's friend? Do you remember that? Do you remember Richard? Richard was Aunt Peg's friend, but it turned out that he was her boyfriend. I knew that already, but this is the first time that it's being revealed. The story is that... Fucking Peg, I can't even with this woman. So the story is Peg impulsively flew to London, right? She was homeless, jobless, all the lesses. And so to kind of distract herself from her feelings, she went shopping. She went to a big department store. This is actually one of the first places Ginny visits. When she gets to London, it's not important. The important part is that Richard works at this department store. And how Aunt Peg met him was that she, in her kind of extroverted, curious glory, just struck up a conversation with him, and in the midst of that conversation, she started crying. She told him how she was in a pickle, and he took pity on her, and he was like, hey, I have an extra room in my flat that I was planning on renting out. Do you want to live there at least until you can get back on your feet? Like, she got a home and a boyfriend. Like, what? What? The convenience? And so Aunt Peg did. They fell in love. And then when he revealed his feelings to her, she panicked and she ran away. And this is what kickstarted her whole trip across Europe. Girl, I don't want to speak ill of the dead, but oh my god. I'm so mad. Peg got sick. She came back to Richard, and Richard has been a dutiful boyfriend caring for her, which is very sweet, but I'm just really annoyed at Peg. It's like she never has to try for anything. And yes, let's keep reading. Okay, so page 292, we're getting a reveal. Basically, Ginny went back to Richard's flat. So Ginny finds this key to Peg's secret artistic stash, and they're looking at these paintings. They're beautiful, they're vibrant, and they depict, just various landmarks that Peg has seen over her travels. And then they find a business card for an art dealer, and it says, call now, in all caps. And I'm just like, the pieces are coming together, and I'm very excited. Oh, this is really sweet. Okay, so yeah, page 307, Ginny, Richard, and Keith are visiting an art dealer that was coordinating the sale of Peg's paintings. And like the paintings like record like the progression of her illness, and it's just kind of like a nice, like a little emotional moment. I remember liking this part. Wow, and Ginny just gets all of the money. Like, dude. Alright, I'm gonna pee, and then we're gonna talk. We have a lot to talk about. Okay, hi, can you tell it's a different day? It's a different day. I said I was gonna pee and then we are gonna come back and talk about 13 Little Blue Envelopes. And I did, but that time I was just so tired that I just came off as cranky and low energy, so that video was useless. Then I recorded my wrap-up thoughts again. I don't know, I was just kind of like going off the cuff and I ended up rambling about things that were irrelevant to... I don't want to call it my thesis for this vlog, but I was talking about things that just were not relevant to the topics or the discussion that I brought up throughout the course of my blog, so it didn't make sense to include that. Take 3. Let's talk about 13 Little Blue Envelopes. I really wanted to like this book. I don't know if it was clear in the vlog, but I had high hopes because I remembered this book fondly and because I had actually remembered so much of the plot. I felt like that boded well for my enjoyment of it. Like, I expected some things to be off just because I'm 25 now, my reading tastes have changed, but this book was a miss for me. To summarize, the thesis of my vlog is that this story doesn't work because Ginny and Peg's relationship doesn't work, and it doesn't work because Peg sucks. I wanted to like Peg so badly. I'm a creative person. I wanted to pursue a career in a creative field, so I could really relate to Peg's desire in that way, and I love the parts of the book that touched on that. You know, I love the fact that she showed Ginny the cafe in Paris that she completely repainted from top to bottom. I love seeing her paintings at the very end of the book. The problem was that there wasn't enough of those scenes. So instead what we got were scenes of Peg just being the worst aspects of the stereotypical artist archetype. Like, she's non-committal, she's impulsive. Canonically, Peg is the type of person who moves continents without a plan within days' notice and gets a home and a boyfriend same day. It's like she doesn't plan for anything and everything miraculously works out for her. That's annoying. And she's also the kind of person who moved continents without telling her family about this, not keeping up a relationship with them, and not even seeing them in person when she was sick of cancer and dying. Like, this is kind of like implicit detail, but like Ginny makes no mention of her seeing or talking to Peg in person while she was sick. She makes no mention of a funeral. That omission says a lot about Peg's relationship with her extended family. So yeah, I guess like my consensus, my thoughts is that I wanted to like it. I truly loved this book when I was a kid, but it didn't live up to 2021. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna rate books that I read for this traveling back to my childhood ventures. You know, I'm in my 20s. I don't think it's fair for me to judge a book that was not written for me and was also written a long time ago. Basically, I'm just gonna judge these books with a simple question. Would I gift this to someone that I knew that was in this appropriate age demographic? And the answer is no. The answer is no. I loved it when I was a kid, but in 2021 there are just better books out there. So that's it. Overall, I'm still having a great time going down nostalgia lane, and I hope that you are enjoying these videos as well. Okay, anyway,